Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Kavita Chauhan. I teach philosophy of art in University of Hyderabad. Today's module is Evaluating Indian Aesthetics, written by Sam Trivedi. This module is divided into three sections. First section deals with the central ideas of Rasa theory. Second section deals with the criticism of Rasa theory, and third section deals with the relevance of Rasa theory in the present day. The Natya Shastra is an ancient text ascribed to Bharat. This module aims to better understand Rasa theory as put forward in the Natya Shastra. Rasa theory is originally focused on drama, and other art forms like music, dance are only the assisting art forms of drama. So Rasa theory is applicable majorly to the dramatic art, not to the other art forms, but over the time focus has extended to dance, sculpture, architecture and music. However, claims of Rasa cannot be extended to cover topics outside arts like beauty in nature. Bharat distinguishes ordinary life emotions and dramatic emotions. Ordinary life emotions are known as bhavs, whereas dramatic life emotions are known as rasa. When we lived emotions, then we are in a state of bhav. Those are called as bhav, and when we enjoy these emotions in dramatic enactment, those are known as rasas. The word rasa has many meanings, some of which include juice, essence, sentiment, and objects of taste. There are 41 psychological states, of which 8 are durable, while the other 33 are transient, even if complementary. The durable psychological states include rati, love, has, amusement, shok, compassion, krodh, anger, utsaha, energy, bhaya, fear, jugupsa, disgust, and vismaya, astonishment. These states, when presented in a play, develops aesthetic emotions or the 8 rasas recognized in drama. These 8 rasas include shringar, erotic love, and hasya, laughter, karun, grief, rodra, fury, veer, heroic spirit, bhyanak, fear, bibhats, revulsion, and adbhut, wonder. So according to these 8 sthai bhavs, there are 8 rasas, and these 8 rasas, out of these 8 rasas, 4 erotic love, fury, heroic spirit, and revulsion are considered original. The other 4 arise out of them. There is a distinction in these psychological states, and these psychological states can be understood in 4 ways. The first refers to determinate or external stimulus, vibhav, of this psychological state. For example, in the case of erotic love, the external stimulus might be a season or a flower. The second entails the consequent, anubhavs, or the immediate and involuntary reaction to stimulus. For instance, this might involve glancing coyly and mouthing sweet words. The third refers to deliberate or conscious reaction, that is vibhichari bhav. In the case of erotic love, this might include many of the 33 transient complementary states such as languor or suspicion or jealousy. The fourth entails the total effect of the durable psychological states known as sthai bhavs. Out of these 4 different levels of psychological states, the result is known as rasa. What in Bharat's terminologies, or the definition of Bharat is vibhav, anubhav, vibhichari bhav, sanyogat, ras, nishpatti. While all four come together to make up the relevant rasa, the fourth component dominate the other three. The sthai bhavs dominate the other vibhavs, anubhavs and vibhichari bhavs. In Natya Shastra, Bharat keeps on giving analogy of food to describe the nature of rasa. Rasa is understood to emerge from the combination of psychological states. Comparisons are made with the taste of food, which is a result of combining various condiments and ingredients. For example, a particular dish like dal is made of a particular dal, for example, moong dal. So, moong dal is like these sthai bhavs, and different ingredients which are used to make dal, like onion, garlic, ginger, they give taste, are like vibhichari bhavs. But when we eat dal, we taste the cooked and ready dish. We don't look into different parts or different ingredients which give taste. So rasa experience is similarly a wholesome experience, not depending on different psychological states like vibhavs, anubhavs or vibhichari bhavs. It's the combination of all these different bhavs. Moreover, the Natya Shastra claims, like well-disposed people who can taste and enjoy food cooked with many kinds of condiments, the cultured person can experience and relish. So what is more important for an experience, that one should be an expert to relish the taste of a particular art, or in the example of a particular dish. It's not that anybody can have the taste of particular dish. One needs to be connoisseur or rasika to take the experience of a particular art form. Cultured persons, as in Bharat's definition, are described as having many traits, some of which include open-mindedness, knowledge of the arts, honesty, expert at detecting faults and appreciating merits, etc. So people, those who can have these various interests in different areas, only can have aesthetic experience. Now, what is the role of audience in aesthetic experience? While actors portray various psychological states when performing, what is experienced by the cultured person is not the same as what is represented. What the rasik or a cultured person experiences is an aesthetic emotion that is generalized form, and that transcends particularities of character, situation, place or time, that is associated with the psychological state represented. In other words, the experiencer universalizes what is represented by the actors. What is interesting part of rasa theory is that rasa experience is the outcome of a composite art, but an appreciator is not merely enjoying one's own emotions or emotions represented by drama, rather these are universalized emotions, and universalized emotions in the sense that they don't belong either to the actors or characters or to the spectators, they are in universal form. So rasa does not solely reside in the work alone, nor does it only exist in the cultured person. The artwork is said to control or determine rather than cause the response of the receiver. This implies that the aesthetic content is both intersubjective and interpersonal. What we have learned from this enumeration of rasa theory, that rasa is the outcome of the combination of different bhavs, And these different bhavs are like determinants, consequence, and transitory mental states. And these different bhavs represent the permanent moods or sthai bhavs. When the spectator enjoys, they don't enjoy merely their own emotions, rather they enjoy the universalized emotions, and these universalized emotions are different from our lived emotions known as bhavs. So when we talk about enjoyed emotions, then we talk about rasa. When we talk about lived emotions, we say these are bhavs. So distinction between bhavs and rasas is that which is universalized emotion or enjoyed or we can say universalized enjoyed emotions, those are known as rasa. Now, this is the enumeration of rasa theory as depicted in this treatise Natya Shastra. Now we come to the second section of this module, which is the criticism of rasa theory. Scholars have questioned the Natya Shastra's underlying claim, keeping with rasa theory, that all art is expressive of emotions and mental states. So since what we have discussed, these are various psychological states or mental states which is being represented in dramatic art form. Now the question is whether every art expresses emotions. Probably not. We can have different art forms, for example the formalistic art which does not represent emotions. Such an understanding would be too narrow for art as practiced and experienced today. For instance, purely formalistic experimental theatre is not expressive or emotive. However, such theatre is still considered an art form. So hence we can say that we can criticize Bharat's theory on the basis that every art form is not an expression of emotions. Second criticism of rasa theory is that writers like M. Haryana have pointed out that as per Indian aesthetics, the sole aim of art is pleasure. If sole aim of art is pleasure, then how can we expect that art teaches some didactic, moral or other values, like we should behave like Ram, not like Ravan. So these moral values are also being taught by different art forms or specifically by drama. So if pleasure is the only aim of drama, it is too narrow. Now, third criticism of rasa theory is that in Natya Shastra, Bharat suffices many elaborative rules for drama. These pertain to hand gestures, body language, gaits, etc. This is further followed by classifications and subclassifications that structure drama. Now, if that is the case, the problem would arise that there are always some revolutionary art, like Amrita Sehgal. She started writing in a different way. She revolted against the given structure, given format. If this is the case, then it is criticism against rasa theory, because artists always they start creating art with pain or with the different emotions which is against the prevalent rules and norms. So artists keep on breaking rules and creating different art forms. So that cannot be taken from Bharat's Natya Shastra straight away. Now, another criticism of Bharat's rasa theory is that, or particularly Bharat's Natya Shastra, is that he has talked about certain portrayal of negative emotions, like comic or laughter, emotion of laughter, hasya, has been considered as inferior. Furthermore, sorrow is said to relate to inferior persons and women. Moreover, the Natya Shastra has been accused of being patriarchal and hierarchical, given that there seems to exist a bias against women and members of underprivileged groups. This is a strong criticism against Bharat's Natya Shastra because certain emotions are being ascribed to women which are lower in nature. At one point of time, Bharat says that these 8 emotions are permanent and belongs to each and every individual. And another point of time, Bharat says that there are certain lower emotions that belong to a particular group of people and women. So this cannot be taken straight away from Bharat's Natya Shastra. Now we come to another criticism that goes against to Natya Shastra. The Natya Shastra makes association between rasa and colors, but for the most part such connections are presented without sufficient justification. For instance, white is associated with comic laughter. There seems to be no justification for why comic laughter associates with white as opposed to any other shade of color. Bharat fails to give justification for this association between bhavs and colors, and what is the reason behind of this association. Whether colors play a very important role in the enactment of different bhavs, whether it is the decoration of stage or the costumes of the actors or the something related to characters that's not been given. Similarly, the 7 different musical notes on a scale are associated with rasas in the context of recitation or songs using stringed instruments. It is not clear why such an association has been proposed. So association with colors, association with musical notes is not been clear why Bharat has used. So we have seen that these are the various criticism of rasa theory. Now we can say that rasa theory cannot be accepted as it is in the present day, since there are certain flaws in Bharat's Natya Shastra. But it is a very influencing treatise, and rasa theory has played a very important role in Indian aesthetics. So, but how to accept it in the present day? Now let's see how the what are these things in rasa theory which can be implemented to different art forms, as we have different art form in the present day. Now we come to the last section of this module, that what we can take from rasa theory. Russell's greatest insight states that a play is not fully realized until experienced appropriately by a competent audience. Most important thing in rasa theory is that it is a process between a rasic and the art object, that is drama. So in order to appreciate a drama, one should be a competent person or rasik. If one is not a competent person or connoisseur, cannot have ras experience or aesthetic experience. Or the another insight of rasa theory is that the success of a performance is determined by the extent to which cultured audiences relish its dominant and subordinate rasas. However, this does not mean that the audience only enjoys or tastes rasa when aroused by a certain psychological state. According to V.K. Chari, mental states such need not to be evoked or produced in readers or spectators. Rather, artistic works are the present emotional situations, so that the said situation imagined in its fullest detail so as to be recognized as an instantiation of a particular emotion. Another thing what is important about rasa theory is that Rasa theory states that aesthetic enjoyment is the highest experience of life. This is the case given that it is a universalized feeling that transcends particularities. The most important aspect of Rasa theory is why we enjoy an enactment, because that is the universalized enactment. Those are the universalized emotions. If they have been, the particular emotions would not have been enjoyed. So universalization is the most important aspect of Rasa theory. A cultured person is said to lose herself in the artwork, whereas she loses her sense of self-consciousness so as to be filled with rasa. However, this need not have religious connotations, where the empirical self is transcended so as to be identical with Brahman. Instead, what is transcended is the particularities of the emotion theoretically presented. As Lewis Rowell notes, Ras is an awareness that rises above the circumstances which awakened it. Another important aspect of Rasa theory is that, or aesthetic experience is, when a spectator or person goes to a theater and watches a movie, she loses herself. What is the meaning of loses herself? That she is unaware of her surroundings and she finds complete identification with the representation. And this complete identification is known as, in terms of transcendence, that she transcends her surroundings. But this transcendence is not in the metaphysical sense. It should not be confused with the religious transcendence. This is a unique transcendentalism in the sense that one negates her space and time, because she is not, when appreciating an art object, she is not her present time and space, she is in the objects of representations time and space, and we cannot locate that representations time and space anywhere. That's why it is known as transcendental experience. So we can say that it is Brahmanand Sahodar. It is similar to spiritual experience. It is not spiritual experience in itself. And lastly, according to Chari, Rasa theory puts the alleged opposition between thought and emotion into question. So in this module, we have seen that aesthetic experience or Rasa experience is unique in itself, though there are various questions which we pose to Rasa theory, but one thing is very clear: it is unique in itself, as it is distinct from lived or ordinary experience, and it is also distinct from spiritual experience. What we can say that it is similar to spiritual experience because of its unique nature. And with these words, I conclude this module. Thank you.